Hello everybody, my name is Jacob. Thank you for checking out XSanity, and welcome to a game called 8888 Needle, Alabama. Now, this is an interesting one for many reasons that I will disclose now before we get into it. So if you remember Wardwell House that I played a while back that I thought was really cool, the 360 degree view of like these photographs and everything. I thought it was more of like a visual novel than it was like a point and click adventure or point and click horror game or whatever. But it was, the style of it I thought was really cool. Personally, I thought it was really cool. I thought it was interestingly done. I hadn't really seen anything like it before. I thought it was interesting. This is by the same developer and is purported to be in the same style. And the reason that is interesting is because the developer actually sent me a Steam key for the game so that I could try it, which is wild to me that anybody would ever ask me to try their game. That is insane. I'm not being paid by the developer. I'm not sponsored by the developer. They just of their own volition decided to email me and send me a key and tell me to give their game a try because they said they saw the Wardwell House video and liked it. I don't know if they sent keys to other people. I would assume that they have, but the point is they sent one to me, and that was very kind of them. They didn't have to do that, and I'm kind of humbled that they did. So that is that's that legal, probably necessarily legal disclosure. I don't know. Literally nobody has ever sent me a Steam key to their game and asked me to play it. So I'm not really prepared, I guess is the word, on how to approach that. But anyways, that's what happened. That's why we're here, and that's super cool. So one other thing before we get started, I had my gallery open, and it's not anymore. So this is from the Steam page from the developers, a trigger warning for anybody watching. This game is supposedly set in after the... Jesus Christ, hang on. Alright, so it takes place in a rural American town after the Civil War. And as such, according to the store page, it says the game explores period-accurate topics such as racism and child marriage. Some players may be triggered by the language and / or subject matter, so player discretion is advised. So now you guys have that warning as well. So if you're not kosher with that, fair warning, heads up. Developers describe the content like this: graphic depictions of violence and strong references to period-accurate racism. So that's trigger warning. And now that all that awkwardness and disclaimer-related things are out of the way, let's get into the game that I am excited to play. New game. Ooh, neat. I remember the first one having good sound design, or I at least like the sound design and the atmosphere. I thought it was really nice. So I'm hoping that this one is also heavy on the good, intense, spooky atmosphere. Also, this is kind of a rough time to be doing something like this because I don't know if I've developed allergies or if I just have bronchitis or something, because bronchitis has been going around, but I'm a bit stuffy, so sorry about that. But I will press on and try my best, which is all I ask of a person, is that they try their best. I would assume. That's all I ever ask of people. OBS. OBS. Oh, my love, OBS. What are you doing, sweetheart? What is anything doing? Is my computer crashing? Am I exiting reality? What is happening? Oh, good. What a great way to start. Chapter 1, Apocalypse. Excellent. Today's the last day, and it would have been nice to see the blue sky one last time instead of this thick fog, but oh well. Okay. The audio sounds a little weird. It took a really long time to load. I don't know what. But, okay. How to play. Look around and read hotspots by zooming in/out by clicking mouse. Look at arrow for a few seconds to proceed. Press enter to change settings. Enter to change settings? Oh, I shouldn't have pressed that. I'm so sorry. Why do I do the things that I do? Why is... Come on. Come on, my little war machine. You can do this. You can do this without crashing. Escape, maybe? Oh, that wasn't the right one. Enter, maybe? Well, I've frozen it. We are off to a fantastic start. Great. This will be the last time that anybody asks me to play their game. I just know it. Okay, I'm sorry for everything I've ever done. I've wrestled control back. I don't know what. My computer is getting up there in age. I need a new one, but I am not a... I am not one to buy things that I deem unnecessary, and even though it's getting up there in age, and sometimes chug-a-lugs, I don't feel like a new one is necessary. Should I probably get a new one? Yeah. Do I need to go get a new one? No, it's a lot of money, and I don't have a lot of money. I make enough to pay my bills and not have to worry about food, but beyond that, I'm not a new computer splurgy kind of guy. All right. Anyways, let's get into this. We got click mouse to zoom in and out. I reckon it's gonna be a busy day. I got many of folks to say my farewells to. Okay, interesting. So where's the arrows? Got one back here now. Okay. I ain't fit for these long walks. My old legs is worn out. Gotcha. All right. Hopefully everything just stabilizes, stays stable. I really need it to. I like how it's like a sepia tone deal. This style is still really cool. It looks like this one's going to be another more of a visual novel type deal, which is fine. If the story's interesting, then that's not too bad. But again, if they did this 360-degree photograph style in a full-fledged point-and-click adventure, inventory puzzles, that sort of thing, then that I think would be really cool. But this style still floors me. This is super cool. All right, what do we got? I'll go meet the Ingle family first and spend some time with little Susie. She's about 12 and my most favorite child in the world. She's as pretty as a Georgia peach, always has a big smile. Okay. I often see her reading through this window here. She's been helping me to read and write, but that gibberish just don't stick in my head no more. I done learned how to write my name a few times, but the letters always turn upside down. Alright, not a problem, I guess. I'll take these here flowers for Susie. They always makes her merry. Alright, sounds like a plan, I guess. On we go. On we go. Alright, what do we got here? Alright. This is where the town children play around this time of day, but I don't see no sign of them. They usually be out here raising Cain, but not today. Alright, well. Chapter 1 is called Apocalypse, so... One time some town children was playing near this pond and they saw someone moving about in it. That's it? We're just going to gloss over that? It's a fucking pond demon and that's it? No other comment on that. Alright, that's probably for the best. Okay, let's look around first. When the children came closer, they saw an escaped prisoner. I reckon he got shot while trying to escape because he was bleeding an awful lot. Right away, the children started throwing stones at him. Ugh. That's not ideal. One of the stones landed right in his eye and blinded him. This area was just puddles of red. That didn't stop the little rascals, though. They laughed and kept pelting the poor Negro until Susie came out. Oof, I don't like saying that. She gave the kids hell for what they'd done and made them scramble away. I don't like saying that. I don't like the way that rolls off the tongue. I don't like the way that feels. It makes me feel gross and icky and like my skin's crawling. And I am not comfortable with that. Period accurate. Not comfortable with it. Not comfortable. I'm not going to be comfortable with hearing myself say it in post either. Okay. Susie told the prisoner to hide in this here shed. She told no one about him but me. Boy, he was in terrible shape. All right. Well, good on you, Susie. All right. What do we got going on here? All right. So we've come up to the house where I assume Susie lives. What do we got? Bread. I like bread. They bake bread. They make bread here. Bake sell bread. Bread house. All right, cool. Sounds good to me. Well, the guards saw the bloodstains here. Well, the guards saw the bloodstains here and figured that he was hiding nearby. They found him in the shed, and I don't like where this is going at all. Hey, is anybody home? It's me, old Godfrey. Look, I got some flowers for little Susie. That's funny. Why ain't they home? I'll come back after I meet some other folks. So did, like, the rapture happen, or did, like, this town built on some great evil that's now come home to roost? Come to make them pay for their sins? Are those doors? Are those doors? Is that what those are? Just Tom and Jerry-esque doors to absolutely nowhere? Alright, it's probably not what they are, but that's what they look like, and that makes me smile. Alright. There's a building, in my hometown where I grew up that had a door like that. A door that just opened to a drop. Like, there was a ladder that they... I guess it was like the fire escape, but like if you didn't know that it was there and you just opened the door and didn't know the ladder was there, because it wasn't like where it went up to the door and then like had the circles or whatever that you see sometimes for like safety or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. It was just like ladder, like propped up against the building basically, and it was the goofiest thing in the entire world. Alright, we got... There's George Grady's house over yonder. Let me go say my goodbyes to him. Why, where is everyone today? The whole town feels doggone quiet. Ain't so much as a mouse stirring about. Maybe everyone's at the temple, but I didn't hear about no ceremony or gathering today. George and his missus been trying for a child almost 6 years with no luck. George shared his plight with our Lord Father Glorious. Like, Lord, Father... What? Lord, Father Glorious. So, like, the Lord's name is Father Glorious? Or, like, you're saying Lord, as in, like, Lord and Father, and He is glorious. I don't know. For some reason, that got me. That confused me. I got hung up on that. And was told to bring his lovely wife to the temple for a divine blessing with the Father himself. Okay, yeah, so I think it is with our Lord, Father Glorious. Okay. Well, that was almost 9 months ago, and wouldn't you know, she gave birth to a healthy boy. All right, well, that's cool. That's good for them. That's good for them. I'm happy for them. What we got here? Just the other day, I seen George here telling some of the folks about how the town ain't gonna put up with the lies no more. He said the trust is broken and that we all ought to start an uprising. We've been lied to for too long. Those was his words. About what? Like, about what specifically? Uprising about what specifically? What have you been lied to about for too long? Those are strong words to not elaborate any further. Weird. The wind appears to have stopped. What the fuck? What is that? What this? There's Miss Wilson's place. She's an old widow that took care of me for many years. She told me about the religion, but says that I ain't allowed to go to no rituals because they evil. Okie dokie. She's a fine cook too. Can't nobody cook like her. Just the other day, she brought so much food to the ceremony that it'd make a man's mouth water. Tarts and cakes and sandwiches, and I don't know what all. All right, so that's the house from the first game. I don't know if they're just reusing it or if it's connected. Either one is completely fine. Yeah, so, like... Okay. So I wonder... So, like, this is like a photograph of an area, right? I wonder if this is, like, one of those, like, historical, things. Like, what the hell... I'm thinking of, like, a specific thing that they're called. Like, hang on, it'll come to me. Like settlements, like one of those historical settlements where like you can have like, it's basically like state parks, or like you have like old Civil War battlefields or forts or whatever, and sometimes you have like whole settlements where they've preserved the houses and turned it into like a museum of sorts. I wonder if this is like one of those, and if so, I wonder where it is, because I think it would be super cool to go see it in person. It looks like that's probably what it is. Of course, none of us townfolk got much to eat because the temple elders got served first, and then the temple guards had their fill. By and by, when it was our turn, there weren't nothing left except crumbs. That is not cool. This house is decaying and in shabby condition. I should have listened to Miss Wilson and painted it when I had the chance, but my brain can't remember so good. It's the least I could have done to repay her for her kindness. Hey, there she is, sitting at the window. Howdy do, Miss Wilson. Maybe she'll offer me a cup of cocoa. That's my most favorite treat, and it'd be swell to enjoy it one last time. Is she there? Is she there? I don't see her. Alright, in we go. I don't feel like she's there. Well, that's cool, the way... Yeah, that's cool. With the reflection. Alright. Open up, miss. I've been thinking about meeting you since morning. It's good to finally see someone in town. Ma'am, it's me, Godfrey. I saw you at the window just now. Hello? Alright. Why, gee willikins, something ain't right. Has it happened already? Has what happened already? What do you know that I don't, Godfrey? Share with the class, please. This looks like a grave. Think I'll go talk to Ernest. He's a black servant over at Judge Ravenel's house. Even if there is a ceremony at the temple, sure as heaven, Ernest ain't gonna be invited. In memory of Catherine Wilson, 1810 to 1885, widow of John Wilson. What? Wait, so in memory of Catherine Wilson, widow of John Wilson. But isn't this Miss Wilson's house? Didn't you just say she was in the window and you was going to see her to get hot cocoa? So, or is that like their daughter? No, because you said she was the widow. Maybe I misunderstood something. Maybe I'm confused. Maybe something sinister is going on. That's the most likely. Is that something sinister is going on? That big place is Judge... Good Lord. Is Judge Ravenel's house. He's also one of the founding members of the temple. They say I'm in Father Glorious. Been friends since childhood. Hello? Gunshots in distance. It's not ideal. Alright, well. Onward we go. We're not going to comment on those gunshots in the distance. Is that just a normal thing that happens around here? Alright, well. The judge and the father was both just a couple of regular farmers from Needle, Alabama, but now look at them. One's the county judge, and the other's our dear Father Glorious. Leave it in thy Lord's hands, for thou can't grasp his ways. Father Glorious said that in a sermon just the other day. Alright. What kind of occult shit has been going down in the town of Needle, Alabama? The faint sound of leaves rustling in the wind makes it feel so lonesome and mournful, as if the whole world's dead and gone. I think, Godfrey, the whole world might be dead and gone. Let me tell you, brother. Hopefully Ernest will tell me where the whole town's gone to. I'd like to say my goodbyes, because ain't no knowing what's going to happen tomorrow. Forget tomorrow! Ain't no telling what's happening today! What the hell's going on? Those don't sound like the distance as it was over there. I feel like I'm getting closer. Typically, you do not want to get closer to unidentified gunshots. Alright, what do we got? Hello, Ernest. For dread's sake, please tell me you... Oh my lord, who's a shooting and firing? Stop firing, it's me, old Godfrey. Doggone it, who's out there? I better hide behind the house before I get shot. That's what I was fucking telling you. Excuse me, that startled me. Hell's going on here? I got to sit tight and be extra quiet. I'm trembling all over, and I can't stop shaking. Like my hands just won't quit quivering. I can't see my hands, but I believe you. The town's been talking that this day would come. Most of the folks lost their trust, but they should have stayed silent. They know darn well what the temple guards is capable of. Alright, well, I don't feel like I was involved. Well, maybe I was, I don't know. Dear Lord, please save me. I hope I'm safe here. I've just got to hush, not make so much as a squeak. We told George Grady that he's asking for muck by raising too many questions. Don't he know what became of all the others doubted the Father? The temple's got ears everywhere, and now look at the dreaded mess we're in. Alright, well, yep, some crazy occult nonsense, I'm sure. I know it's super duper not the dev's fault, and this totally tells me that this is probably like a renovated historical site, but boy, howdy jeepers, does the chain link really take me out of the post-Civil War 1888, I assume it would have to be 1888 immersion. Unless, when were chain link fences invented? Hang on a sec. Now I'm just curious about that. Never mind, I'll shut my fucking mouth because chain link fences were invented. Bishop and Bernard developed the first patent for the chain link fence in 1855, which was 6 years before the Civil War. So I'll shut up, because apparently I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I would never in a million, billion, trillion years guess that chain link fences have been around since the 1850s. What? That is insane. Alright, never fucking mind. Touché. Carry on. We learn something every day. Never be afraid to learn, kids. I can't hear him no more. I think the guards went back to the temple. Alright. Let me try again. If Ernest is home, my old heart's thumping too fast. It ain't good for me. Oh, man. That is insane. That's almost as insane as the other day I learned that Spencer's, the goofy novelty goods store where you can buy all kinds of like marijuana paraphernalia and other things that Spencer's at every mall ever in America. Apparently that company was founded in the 1940s. So, like I said, never be afraid to learn. Never be afraid to learn. The things you will find out is wacky. Please, Ernest, I beg you to open up. I'm terrified. I ain't breathing so good, and I'm parched and need some water, please. Looks like they're still here. I need to find a place to hide quick. Welp. So they're just going around executing the townsfolk? Is that what's happening? I'm guessing they probably weren't aiming for me. That's probably a stray bullet. Maybe they were. I don't know. Hang it. It's locked. This one's locked too. Who do people think they are locking their windows? Oh, Lord, please make him be gone. Let me go have a peek. Poke my head out. Yeah, I don't see anybody. Probably fine. Why would we just pick a direction and take off running? I assume you know where the temple is, so if you run in the opposite direction... May God curse those darn guards. I reckon they went back to the temple. Yeah, that's what you reckoned the first time, and I reckon you were wrong. That still don't explain where all the folks is. Everyone's gone and disappeared into the fogs for all eyes know. Close enough. I really, really like how the dialogue is written. It super duper fits, and it's actually really... I don't know if endearing is the right word, but that's the word I'm going to use. it definitely helps with the immersion. Good freaking lord, with the immersion. I like it, is what I'm trying to say. Father Jim lives in that house down yonder, and that's his barn next door. He's a firm and fervent believer of Father Glorious, never misses a sermon or ceremony at the temple. He's always dressed in his fine white cottons for all the rituals. Says he's been to all of them. Oh, wait, I'm stupid. I think I just put it together. You're talking about the Ku Klux Klan, aren't you? It shouldn't have taken me that long to put it. Fine white cottons rituals. Yeah, okay. That scans. That's adding up. I don't like it. I don't like this. Say at least his horse and cows ought to be there. Seeing any sign of life will be heaven sent from my soul. Feel terribly alone and empty. Alright. Could have sworn I heard footsteps. They're behind me now, right? Oh, no. Well, I also could have sworn I heard footsteps, so don't even worry about it, Godfrey. What we got going on? So, is this the temple? Looks like that might maybe be what it is. Alright, well. There ain't no animals, no horse, no cows. One of Jim's cows had a calf that was recently sacrificed. Jim would have personally sacrificed his old trusted steed if the father so asked. Alright, well, that sounds a little fanatical, if you ask me. Many of the townsfolk have been giving Jim the cold shoulder recently. George Grady told us to be careful what we tell him because Jim's only loyal to the temple. Jim has changed an awful lot since he became a believer. He weren't like this. Alright, well. Poor Jim. Poor past Jim. Present Jim sounds like an asshole. Alright, what do we got? A rotten stench is coming out of that shed. I wonder what remains Jim put in there. But it's decomposed and giving off a rancid smell. Could be old Jim himself. No use of this firewood no longer. It's been laying here untouched for years. Well, that just means it's in its prime to be used as firewood. You know how an errant spark could set the whole thing ablaze. Doesn't look like you get much rain around here. The whole town's supposed to gather in this field tomorrow for the decisive day. Father Glorious had his heavenly vision in this same field more than 20 years ago. Angels came down and gave him the holy revelation. That was the day regular old Avery Cartwright became our Father Glorious. Okay, so this sounds like some sort of Ku Klux Klan prophetic doomsday cult town thing. Yeah, you never like to be in one of those. I often sit here and stare at the skies to maybe catch a glimpse of those angels. They say Father Glorious' black hair instantly turned ash and white after his encounter. Or you sound like you're already an old man, so if that was the case, wouldn't you turn to like dust? I remember once meeting Jim after the first of the rituals. He had a crazy look in his eyes, like that of a madman or a murderer. He smelled the smoke and burn and kept chanting glory, glory, glory like a raving lunatic. He became feverish after that for almost a week. What did he do that for? Also, shouldn't you be trying to like find somewhere to hide or get out of here? Oh, that ain't good. I would even go so far as to call that bad. Alright. Not ideal. That used to be Father Glorious's house, but now it belongs to Warden Henry. Say, that's a good idea. I'll head to Cartwright Prison and maybe they'll know what the deal is. I'm sure the prisoners are still around. See, I hate no dummy that everyone makes me out to be. Okay, whatever you say. Oh, we have to look at this. Alright, well. But we don't like it. Oh, dear. Was that real? Was that even there? Okay, no problem. Wasn't real. Don't worry about it. If it wasn't real, who cares? Chapter 2. Demons. This game has 3 chapters. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I've made the long walk to the prison. Can't believe this has been my daily walk to work for so many years. My legs ain't what they used to be. Alright, well. Hey Billy, it's your old friend Godfrey. I hate reporting for work, so don't get no ideas, you hear? Open up quick, I gotta tell you about the town and how everyone's missing. Just as I suspicion, ain't no sign of him. Well, Billy's always been a lazy slouch, so maybe he's off napping somewhere. That sounds like footsteps. Maybe it ain't. Okie dokie. I've been a janitor in this prison for many years, and Billy was always talking my ear off with all the gossip in the world. He talks so darn much that he even told some of the prisoners about the big day tomorrow, and now they's excited as if they come into heaven with us. Well, that's a sign of life, at least. Right? Like, that's what you want? Oh, my good Lord, I ain't seen a single person all day, but it sounds like that damn dog Stonewall is alive and well. I hope to gracious he ain't coming with us tomorrow. Well, what the dog do? I don't know why I got my fingers instinctively on waxed. What is that? I hate all the guard dogs here, but none is worse and more vicious than that blasted Stonewall. Rumor is that he was brought in from Cuba. He was confined as a pup and daily starved, given a snack only when he Don't like it. Don't like it. He was beaten so often that his skin is thickened. Now he goes rabid just at the sight of a black man, many of whom he's maimed and eaten. Wow. So, just a town full of just absolute dickheads, huh? Why, he's become so violent that they almost never take the muzzle off him, or he'd even bite the warden. Alright, well, I feel very bad for the dog. No sympathy at all for whomstever did that to him, or whomstever runs this prison. I would even go so far as to say, fuck him. It was my bad luck one day that I was cleaning into the kennel area and Billy had forgot to put the muzzle back on him. Well, that god-darn Stonewall bit through a chunk of my left leg, and I ain't been able to walk right since then. God damn it, Billy! There's always 2 guards up on that tower, but ain't no sign of them neither. Billy told me that those guards killed Abe some weeks ago when he was trying to escape. He was older than 80 and would have known he'd get shot. Maybe that was his purpose. That's bad. No, it's not good. It's no good. Give me bad feelings in my tummy. What's here? Boy, this place is just getting shabbier and crummier since they fired me. Billy tells me that I was the best janitor this place ever had, but now it's all falling apart. Why, just look at this decay everywhere. I can't decide if Godfrey was a good, bad, or neutral party in all of this. I remember this. They took it on the day they did work on Professor's head. Even Judge Ravenel showed up to see it in person. Strange thing to celebrate. Alright. Who's Professor? What work did they do on his head? Read letter. Alright, well, maybe give me some insight into what's going on. To the Honorable Father Glorious, I had written to you earlier as to the proposed leasing for more convicts. As you are aware, our company has been leasing convicts from Cartwright Prison and have been paying our fair dollar value for them, not to mention my personal donations to the temple. However, our request for 300 more convicts has not been met, and we are in dire need of more. Of the 400 we originally leased, more than half have perished, and work on the railroad has drastically slowed. Our shareholders are not happy. I beg that you pardon my bluntness, but for the last time, please send us more, or we shall look elsewhere. Yours respectfully, J. L. Smith, Chairman, Montgomery South Railroad Company, and Resident Dickhead. All right. Not comfortable. Let me go talk to Warden Henry and see what he figures. Most of the townsfolk say that Warden Henry ain't a bad person, but I disagree. Even when he was a plantation owner, he was well known across the county about how brutally he treated his slaves. Okay, so I guess Godfrey's leaning. He's firmly a neutral right now, perhaps leaning towards good actor. All right. There's no one here. What a surprise. Warden Henry was then a colonel during the Civil War, and I believe that further hardened him into who he is today. No, so much has moved when they hear Warden Henry's coming through. This is not. So this is set after the Civil War. The Civil War ended in what? So this is 1888. The Civil War ended in 1865. So 23. This is 23 years after the Civil War. And it's in Alabama, so things are not... Yeah, okay, so this all scans. Not the most depressing, disappointing, disgusting time in American history, to be sure. Dear Henry, it has been brought to my attention that Alabama State Senator Robert Barnes is forming a special commission to investigate the claims of abuse at the prison. I'm convinced it was leaked by that detestable smart aleck from Ohio, so see to it that he gets what is deserving. Control the deaths and torture in the prison for some days, and for heaven's sake, have the whole facility cleaned. The English language does not have the sufficient words to express the uttermost stench in the prison. Clean up the vile, and make them at least presentable before the commission comes. I am pressing some legislatures and even Avery to put an end to this dastardly commission. Therefore, till I hear from them, I remain your most truly, Judge Thomas Ravenel. All right. His office is mighty comfortable compared to the rest of the rundown prison. I'd sit here sometimes while cleaning if the warden weren't in, away from all the chaos and cruelty of the cells. Alright, cruelty, that's a good word for it. Sounds like Godfrey wasn't necessarily a bad person. My dearest friend Avery, I pray this letter finds you in the best of health. I have not been regular at the temple these last few weeks, but it is only because I have been busy sentencing so many new convicts for our mutual benefit. I endeavor to bring your attention to the bothersome Senator Barnes and the commission he is forming to audit the prison. We must quell this commission through protests by the townspeople. I propose that you heat up the town against perhaps a rape accusation followed by a ritual. We get the town into a frenzy. Jesus fucking Christ. Tell the town that Barnes and the commission want to set all these black rapists and murderers free onto their women and children. Young Mary has turned 14 and is quite the beauty. I shall be most glad if you arrange a tryst between us during the next ceremony. Always your true companion, Thomas Ravenel, the slimiest piece of shit this side of the Mississippi. I think that's where the fuck is the Mississippi River? That might not make any sense, but I'm sticking with it. What we got going on here? Okay. There's a growing fear in me that it's already happened because Billy and the warden ain't here neither. Will it become an old me if everyone's already gone? Well, it doesn't sound like everybody's already gone. There's gunshots. Temple guards. Yeah, I guess to be in their cells because Father Gloria said many a times there'd only be us white folks up there. Let me check the cell blocks. Alright, the atmosphere has arrived. It's windy in here. The cell block feels dead and hollow, just like everything else today. I always hear cries, groans, and screams here, so the silence feels spooky and depressing. It's sweltering hot and I'm dried up thirsty. I'll sit down here after I figure out what's going on. What the hell is this? Oh, is this one of the cells? Okay, that makes sense. I was so confused about what this room was. I didn't enjoy cleaning these toilets one bit. They'd be overflowing with filth and the smell is putrid. But I did it dutifully because I'm a good janitor. Good on you, Godfrey. There's usually around 20 convicts cramped in this here cell, sweating in the scorching humidity. One of the prisoners, Titus, was kept here and was always friendly to me. Ah, here we go. He used to be a slave and didn't have no place to go once he was freed after the war. One day he was sitting under a tree minding his own business and the sheriff arrested him for vagrancy. Yep, I figured that was the gist of this little fucked up town. Judge Ravenel sentenced Titus to 5 years for that. He was leased out to a plantation a few months after, where he and 10 other convicts was told to clear a swamp down in Jackson County. Ah, here we go. I heard that they was chained for days in that knee-deep pool of muck. Many got malaria from the mosquitoes and ticks constantly eating away at him. That is fucked right up. The Alabama sun got Titus and them so thirsty they was drinking the same filthy swamp water they'd been standing in Washington for days. Most of them died from sickness, but Titus made it out. Oh, what became of poor Titus? Well, he was sent back here just a couple weeks later because the plantation owner's missus said he followed behind her one evening that spooked her and she complained to her husband. Oh, I don't like where this is going. Titus told me he just wanted to ask her for some water and didn't know what he'd have done wrong. Okie dokie. Alright. Alright. A few days after Titus was back, Father Glorious told all of us at a sermon that a young black man had dared touch and rape a white woman and that he'd be brought to divine justice. Alright, I am getting some distinct Emmett Till vibes here, which I believe, I'm not mistaken, the lady that accused Emmett Till of, hang on, I'm going to look up the exact details because I know the gist of it, because I learned it in U.S. history in high school, but I don't want to get to the details of that specific point in American history wrong. Okay, so Carolyn Bryant, the woman who accused Emmett Till of offending her, of whistling at her, she just died recently. And that awful atrocity was what kicked off the greater civil rights movement in the U.S. and led to everything that happened in the 60s, because I believe that happened in the 50s. It hasn't been that long since we were really not great people here in this country. They held a ritual and Titus was invited, but I didn't go because I promised Miss Wilson I wouldn't. I never saw him after that. He was no older than 15. Extreme Emmett Till vibes. Maybe that was the inspiration for that story. Holy shit. Oh, okay. That wasn't real? Alright, well. Whenever I'm in the cell, it makes me heart sick and blue. There's a prisoner here, and he became a friend of mine. His name was Isaac, but everyone called him Professor. Weren't even from the South. He was a newspaper writer all the way from Ohio. He was the only schooled black man I ever did see. Well, he'd come down to the South to write about how things was going 10 years after the Civil War ended, and the judge didn't like him snooping around our town. Oh, boy. Most respected Senator Barnes, I take the liberty of describing to you the deplorable conditions as I have witnessed of prisoners at Cartwright Prison in Needle, Alabama. Convicts are brutally tortured and tormented on a daily basis. They are then leased out to corporations to profit in a form of legal slavery. Work conditions at these companies are deplorable, and many convicts are affected by exhaustion, malaria, dysentery, and gunshot wounds. Nearly no leased convict ever makes it back alive to the prison. Senator, I urge you and your fellow Alabama legislators to probe the disgraceful exploitation that is taking place at this prison. Judges, sheriffs, and the police are part of the racket. You will likely not receive more letters from me, since I fear I'll be leased out soon, or worse. Yours faithfully, Isaac Jones. This is dark. This is hands down, I think, the darkest subject matter I've dealt with in any game that I've played. Professor was accused of stealing a chicken and sent here by Judge Ravenel for 10 years on the account of grand theft. I never quite figured why a well-to-do man would steal a chicken, but it was his word against the white farmers. Right. Like, this makes the themes of and tones of racism in, like, BioShock Infinite feel fucking cartoonish. Over time, he got to telling other prisoners about how things was in Ohio, started filling their heads about mumbo-jumbo like freedom and rights. Well, Billy ran his big mouth off to the warden about this, even though I told Professor to stay quiet about such ideas. Ugh. The next day, all the prisoners was brought in this area, and the guards dragged Professor out of his cell. Judge Ravenel even came and was given a nice seat. All the rest of us had to stand and watch. Stand and watch what? I don't like this room. Professor was tied down to this here chair. Doctor was brought in and said he'd do some sort of experiment by hooking up big wires on Professor's head. Doc pulled down a lever that sent electricity through him. I worked here a long time, but I never heard such cries of pain and agony like I did that day. I remember the foul stink of burning human flesh in the air. Ugh. Professor was never the same. His jumbled words didn't make no sense. He just gazed in the distance with drool running down his mouth. That's what happens to think too much around here, is what the warden warned others. Found his dead body in the cell a few days after that. Jesus Christ. Alright. These sad memories is making me miserable. I just want to be at a sermon at the temple where Father Glorious always gives us hope. I don't know. Godfrey strikes me as a simple man. I used to like sitting on this ledge during my workday to rest. The breeze through the window helped ease the suffocating heat. Mercy's sakes, that stone wall's barking. It sounds nearby. I think he's in this cell block. I'm terrified to death of that damn devil. I guess I better get out of here then. I've been chased by dogs before. It's not fun. It's very scary. I still remember the pain when his fangs pierced into my leg all the way to the bone. 3 men had to pull him off, but it ripped the meat from my leg. Oof. I've cleaned up the mess many a times after they used stone wall on the prisoners. One time the body was barely joined to the head because he'd eaten clean through the neck. Took me all day to clean that mess of blood in the cell block. Demons is right. Jesus Christ. This place was being run by demons. God, all the terrible memories of Stonewall flooded back to me. 5 prisoners were once planning to escape, and the warden rounded them all up and stripped them naked. They chained their hands up and let Stonewall and a couple other dogs gorge themselves. They'll be puking today, said one of the guards. If I can hear footsteps getting closer, I'm going to hide in one of these. I didn't get to read that. Alright, well. I guess not all dogs go to heaven. Dear Lord, please. Greetings! Are you real? I can't hide here all day. He'll smell me out. He's tasting my blood. I know he won't go for just my leg today. I'm dead afraid to leave this cell right now. Well, we got to, Godfrey, old boy. We got to. Sounds like he's going off to the other end of the prison, so I'll head this other way. I got to stay on my toes because he could be lurking in the shadows. Noted. Noted. 8888. Looks like some of these got to scribbling tomorrow's date in the prison. Billy probably never told them that they gonna be left behind during the apocalypse. Father Glorious always says, only you, the true believer, shall ascend to the heavens. Boy, I get downright giddy just thinking about the promised land that Father told us of. Where the cream and honey flows in streams, where the ripest of fruits hangs on every tree, where it's only us believers in the green hills and meadows. Yes, many of the townsfolk got doubts about Father, especially that George Grady, but I still dream of the day when the angels will fly us to the heavens. Yep, Godfrey's definitely a simple man. God bless him. Somebody really ought to talk sense into George. Why, the other day, him and many of the townsfolk were saying they's going to need lots of help against the temple guards. Oh, what do we got here? And dog my cats, George said the craziest thing I ever heard in all my born days. That the town ought to free all the black prisoners so they can help take down the temple guards. He's gone plumb crazy. Alright. Feels like a neutral party. What exactly does he figure he gonna do? That's just gonna march into... He's just gonna march into this prison and open up all the cells? Might as well have. Would have been the right thing to do. Oh, it's raining now. I guess George thinks it's going to be a simple walk in the park. He probably thinks he's easily going to come down this here wall. I suppose he hides among the trees in these here burrows so the guards don't see him. Well, sounds like you're piecing it together, bud. Oh, here we go. And supposing he somehow climbs up this wall and gets in through this here window. Supposing he does, Godfrey. Something like that is always worth a shot. And once George gets in, I suppose he's going to open up the cells to free them and convince them to march with him to the temple. He really believes I'm going to give him the extra set of keys that I still got. Godfrey, you should have. Would have been the right thing to do. Beyond the right thing to do. What does he expect that the prison guards and dogs will be asleep? They're going to welcome him with open arms? Okay, well, that's a fair point. It's drippy in here. Don't he know that the prison guards will be shooting and firing at every last one of them? It'd be a bloody massacre. Sounds like it's already a bloody massacre out there, Godfrey. Don't know what difference it would have made. If all the convicts ever did get out, I can only imagine what they'd do to the prison guards. Maybe a group of them would even go after Stonewall for all the terror he done. I still don't blame the dog. Hell, at the end of it, you'd probably find George Grady's body among all the dead, riddled with bullets, even if the prisoners did get out. Well, he would have died for a good cause. No, all this can't happen. Someone better talk some smarts into that boy George, for heaven's sake. I'll have a word with him if I can find him, that is. I'll find my way out of the prison now. Ain't nobody here except Stonewall. No one would even hear my wails for help if he attacks me. Still sends chills down my spine when I come near this cell, because that's where they used to keep Moses. I feel like spirits wandering and haunt this area. Do you now? Pray tell why. He used to be a slave and told others on the plantation about how his ancestors used to do some kind of witchcraft or voodoo many years ago, but he didn't believe in that gibberish himself. Okay, I see. Well, thank you for pray telling me why. Plantation Moses was at had almost 100 pigs, but they all got swine fever once. The sick hogs would just lie down all day and huddle together in a pile, most of them vomiting with high fevers and diarrhea. Gross! A few weeks later, their back legs stopped working and all the hogs in the plantation died of illness. The plantation owner got to hearing these rumors about Moses' witch ancestors and accused him of putting an evil spell on the pigs on his farm. Judge Ravenel sentenced him for witchcraft. Moses was sent here, although he said he didn't know nothing himself about no witchcraft. It was only his ancestors. A few months after he was here, many of the prisoners got sick with cholera. What is that? Where next? Oh, here we go. Again, people started blaming Moses for the sickness, although he'd also gotten sick. So sick he almost died. Many prisoners died from the disease. I had to clean up the cells after the piles of dead bodies were disposed, because I didn't want to get no nasty sickness. Praise the glorious Father that I didn't get sick during that time. The warden decided it was best to lynch Moses because he didn't want him pulling no witchcraft in a convict camp elsewhere. Father Glorious agreed, and it was settled to have a lynching in the town for the whole public's viewing. There we go. Moses was none too pleased and said he'd done nothing to nobody. When they was tying the noose around his neck, he said he cursed the prison and the whole town and needle, and his ancestors' evil spirits would forever haunt him. Maybe that's what's going on. I was there when they hung him, since it's my job to clean up afterwards. The branch they was hanging him on broke during the lynching, and he fell from a height which broke both his legs. Oh, man. They dragged his broken body back to a different tree and hung him again. This time it worked. The townsfolk gave an applause, and I specifically remember the beaming smile on Farmer Jim's face. The memory of his hanging body with his eyes bulging out haunts me every day. Well, Godfrey, that just means you have a conscience somewhere in there, and that's a good thing. I always fear that his curse has put demons and wicked spirits on this prison and town. Everything's gone straight to hell, and 3 shakes of a sheep's tail, as the saying goes. Well, Godfrey, I don't know how to tell you this, but town already had plenty of demons. I promise you that Moses didn't send any worse ones. His curse that this town would suffer has probably come true. Goodness gracious sakes, I got to go to the temple and tell Father Glorious about all this. He alone could save us. That's what he always says at the sermon. We onward to chapter 3. Looks like I'm averaging about 30 minutes a chapter. Looks like it's going to be a long video. Chapter 3, Angels. We'll see about it. There ain't much time left for the day to end, and I must tell Father Glorious that Moses' curse has come true. I'm drained from all the walking, but I must endure. Alright, here we are again. Thank the Lord I'm far enough from the prison now. I often wish that the temple weren't built in such a high cliff, but I appreciate it today because I ain't got to worry about Stonewall following me all the way here. Guess that's a fair point. Father Glorious had the temple built on a cliff so he can watch over us for our protection. There's many a dangers out there for us plain simple townsfolk, as Father says, the biggest ones. No, since the war ended, we've been told that need to be put in prison and kept inside, or else they'll run rampant on our women and children. And all that Father asks in return for this protection is that we donate our earnings to the temple, which I've been gladly doing. Oh, poor, simple Godfrey. You've been taken advantage of by a right, proper piece of shit. It seems like. I remember being in this exact spot just the other day. I was sitting on this here rock with little Susie, and the other children was playing nearby. A couple of children had put pine seeds under this tree and was waiting behind it with a basket that was trying to catch fox squirrels. Well, they finally trapped one and hollered with joy. What's happening? Oh, why is it frozen? Don't do this to me. Come on, come back to me. Alright, I've regained control. Okay. What is that noise that I am hearing? I'm going to prick this twig through its mouth and out the other end, said one of the rascals. I'm going to start a fire so we can burn it, like we seen at the ritual the other day, said the other. That isn't good. Susie picked up a rock and threw it on the child's foot before they could do anything. That made him scoot away, and Susie freed the squirrel. She's my most favorite child, always laughing and always smiling a big bright smile. Good kid. That reminds me of a kid I went to elementary school with. He used to stick firecrackers in frogs in toads' mouths. Toads. I grew up in Tennessee. We used to get a lot of frogs during the spring. I would assume most places do. I don't know, but definitely in the South, definitely in Tennessee. But yeah, I used to catch them and stick firecrackers in their mouths, and it's really fucked up, isn't it? He ended up normal, as far as I know, but that never sat right with me. I ain't heard her laugh in a long time, though. She was helping an escaped prisoner, and the temple found out soon after it was announced that she'd been chosen as the new Lady Bliss. That doesn't sound good. That, in fact, sounds really bad. Whatever that is, it is physically impossible that it is good. It can only be bad and probably disgusting. I was overjoyed for her. Little Susie had been chosen to be the newest wife of Father Glorious. Yep, knew it. Father says it's his holy duty to get married 80 times by the apocalypse, and now Susie would be one of the ladies bliss. Okay, well, I remember seeing her at the wedding ceremony. She looked like an angel when she walked down the aisle and sat next to Father Glorious. I looked at her and she looked back at me with the saddest eyes. Oh, how I wish I could have comforted her in that moment. I seen her 3 months later at the next ceremony of Father Glorious and Mary and the new young Lady Bliss. Susie stood behind the throne alongside all the other Ladies Bliss. Right. Not great. She looked different than the other girls because she weren't smiling. Her eyes had an empty, lost look. I waved to her, but I figured she ain't noticed. I could tell her mind was elsewhere. No, thank you. Not necessary. Wait a goddarn minute. That sounds like Susie. Susie, my child, where are you? See you later. Susie, it's really you. I'm so glad I finally found you. I can't wait to tell your parents. They've been worried sick about you. I've been asking the whole town since I ain't heard from you, but they always turn the topic when I say your name. They just look down and never answer. Your mom and pa have been looking awfully broken-hearted as of late. They don't even look like the same folks no more, with sunken eyes and deep buried frowns. Feels like all the happiness has been sucked straight out of them. This, single end well, is it? Slow down, child. My legs ain't so good and I've been walking all day. Listen, something awful strange is going on. The whole town just disappeared. Oh boy, I'ma sit down by the water for a minute. My dog's is killing me. Odd choice, especially since you seem to have found the first sign of another living being, but who am I to... What in the fresh hell was that? I don't like coming here because I've seen a few dead bodies of prisoners washed up on this here shore. I ain't seen no gunshot wounds on them, so I figure they either drowned or was drowned by somebody. There's the Alabama River. It takes many hours by boat to get to the next nearest town called Silo. That's actually where I'm from. I came to Needlemore 15 years ago. Boy, I sure had a different life back then. What was that thing in the sky? Was it a UFO? Was that the sun? Was it God himself? Herself? Who knows? Some of the townsfolk been thinking about taking a boat and leaving Needle for good. It's too late for that now because the big day's tomorrow, the apocalypse. Alright. Is Needle, Alabama really a real place? I'll look that up in a minute. Tomorrow on 8/8/88, the whole town's going to gather in the big field and all of us going to drink the heavenly milk. Oh, goodness. The town children will be the first to drink it, then they'll cover their faces with white cloth, lay down in the field, and wait for the angels to take them to heaven. After that, us townsfolk will drink it, and finally Father Glorious at the end. I get slap-happy thinking about the final moments as we all lay on the field with our faces covered. Some weeks ago, we was all brought to the field to practice the last day, but was given just regular old milk, not the special heavenly milk they've been making and storing down at the prison. Imagine stumbling upon that. Just a bunch of corpses with their faces covered in the middle of a field in lower Alabama. Just fucking imagine that. Wow, B, where the heck is all the temple guards? There's always a small army of them guarding the temple gates, but ain't no trace of them today. The whole town's afraid of those bastards. They wear ugly green... What the fuck did I just see? They wear ugly green robes and frightening white wigs. Worst part is the masks they wear with long noses hanging down to their chins, big circles for the eyes, and creepy smiles that stretch ear to ear. And they carry powerful rifles. No one knows who's behind the masks either. I've heard that one must pass many vile and despicable rituals to become a temple guard. I can't even think about those sick customs. Is there something behind me? No, not this time. I had a nightmare about this exact spot the other night. It was dreadfully scary and really shook me up. Only thing that gave me peace was that it ain't possible to happen in real life. Oh, Godfrey, we'll see about that. I dreamt that there was a whole cavalry of temple guards here, more than 50 of them. They were standing all alert and ready to shoot, shouting orders to each other and taking up positions. There was a terrifying panic in their voices, such that I can't fathom. There over yonder, a mass of people was slowly approaching and hidden amongst the trees and bushes. It was black faces and white faces, prisoners and townfolks all together. So, an uprising. The thing that you like to hear. And the mass of people kept marching forward, hundreds of them. That's when the temple guards started firing and kept on firing until this place was just heavy smoke from the rifles. Bodies upon dead bodies lay in wake, black bodies and white bodies, prisoners and townsfolk. Blood streamed into puddles from the corpses, but the masses kept coming forward, stepping over dead bodies, trampling over the almost dead. And a few of the guards ran out of bullets and tried to escape from the growing mob. One guard climbed up this here pole, but slipped, fell on the rocks with a bone-crushing thud, and the mob beat on his dead body till his green robe darkened with bleeding. The guard's mask had broken when he fell, and I distinctly remember in the nightmare that it was the dead face of Farmer Jim. Well, that's okay. Farmer Jim sounds like an asshole. In the nightmare, I found myself as part of the mob, and there was no black or white in this mob. It was just one big, breathing, heaving, seething monster. And the temple guards shot away at the monster, but there was no stopping it now. There was just too much bottled-up rage powering it. Rage at the lies, rage at the torture, rage at the injustice, rage at the exploitation, rage at the abuse, and rage at simply being made a fool of. But the strong rifles did damage to the beast. Countless human carcasses lay all over this place. Some with blown off limbs, others half dead, crying for help and agony. But the crowd kept on and coming forward to get the guards. And in the nightmare, some of the scariest parts was what happened when the townsfolk got a hold of the guards. The townsfolk didn't have no rifles. They only brought whatever tools from their homes, like knives, hammers, and axes. Ooh, that sounds brutal. The mob pounced on a temple guard, and the townsfolk mashed in his head with iron rods and iron griddles. A townswoman then repeatedly stabbed his body in hysteria on this here well, all the while screaming like a rabid animal. In another part of the dream, I saw a group of barefoot prisoners overpowering a couple of guards and grabbed their rifles from them. The prisoners didn't know how to fire the gun, but mistakenly pulled the trigger and shot the guard through the stomach at point-blank range. The force of the shot pushed the prisoner off his feet, and he flew down the sledge. As for the guard, the shot almost blew his body into two halves. What fucking rifles were they using? And the crazed crowd just lurched forward. They was covered with the mix of blood of dead prisoners and dead townsfolk and dead guards. They was drenched in sweat from the sweltering humidity, and their eyes had the look of pure lunacy. Some folks had brought with them fire-lit torches, and they lighted ablaze the dead bodies of the guards. They hollered and laughed like wild children as if there was anything funny about it. At the end of the dream, all the guards had been killed. The prisoners and townsfolk sat here, all in complete silence. Then one of the townsmen broke out in loud sobs, and the rest of the folks joined. Good Lord, in mourning the loss of the town children, of their fellow townsfolk, and of their hope, others cried for their newly found freedom. It's strange that I have this same nightmare almost every night, and I always wake up screaming and crying from it. Well, that's nothing to be ashamed of, Godfrey. That sounds fucking traumatizing. Oh, I don't like when the spooky music stops. It weren't easy, but I finally made it to the temple. I'm already starting to feel peace in my mind because I've arrived to my most favorite place. Why is this your most favorite place? I wish everyone could see how grand the temple is. The lovely marble on the floors is from some far-off country. The fine wooden roofs is all the way up from Oregon. The stained glass mural is by some fancy artist up north. Oh, because it looks real nice. Okay, that's probably why it's your most favorite place. I'm going to bow down at Father Glorious's feet even longer than we usually do because I'm so delighted to see him. I can finally tell him how everyone's gone missing. I'm sure he'll find a solution. I don't think you're going to like what you find at the temple, Godfrey. I genuinely, truly don't. Is this the temple? It looks a bit overrun. I wonder if they'll let me into the temple, though. There's been too much tension between the town and temple recently. And the tension's been taking a toll even on poor Father Glorious. At his sermon some days ago, he said there were traitors among us, and he broke down crying, asking if we'd lost our faith in him. We all shouted a resounding no and told him that he's our savior. How could we ever lose faith in him? Thankfully, that cheered him up, and he was all smiles the next minute. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, my Lord, our temple is on fire. Oh, Lordy mercy. Help, please somebody help. Our holy temple is burning. Oh, sweet Lord, have mercy. Godfrey's just having a real bad day. The whole temple's on fire. It's all burned down to hell. Damn that George Grady and the rest of the non-believers who've been planning this. They burnt it down. They really burnt it down. Where's Father Glorious? Where's all the ladies' bliss? God Almighty, what should I do? There's just nothing left no more, and there ain't a soul here to help me. Too much blood, sweat, and tears went into building this temple, and many in the end died during its construction. Father Glorious said it would be the last structure standing during the apocalypse, but now it's gone already. Oh, you're going to go in, are you? Whatever you say. Whatever you say. This is where us townsfolk would sit on the floor when Father delivers his sermons. It was only a few days ago when he was preaching and getting us ready for the last day. And this is where Father Glorious sits on his mighty purple throne, his mighty wife standing behind him and current Lady Bliss beside him. And behind him, the mosaic showed Father's encounter with the angels. And these here special rooms, none of us townsfolk allowed in them. They're only for Father's special friends like Judge Ravenel, the sheriff, and other big officials. They're always accompanied by one of the young ladies' bliss. Oh, that's disgusting. But now it's been all burnt down to dust by George and his merry band of non-believers. Y'all ain't coming to heaven with us tomorrow. You can burn and scorch here during the apocalypse. Tomorrow, how is any of us going to the heavens if Father Glorious ain't here? What's going to happen tomorrow on the big day that all of us been waiting for? Are all of us honest-to-God believers also going to burn in fires when the apocalypse happens? Are we to suffer the acts of those doggone non-believers that did this? Oh, here we go. No. I've been running all over hell's half-acre preparing for the big day tomorrow. I done waited patiently all these years to go to heaven and taste the streams of honey and cream and the fine wines. And be in the green hills away from this cursed stinking town of Needle and cursed dagnam prison and all the death and the dead bodies and the torture, and I'm getting dizzy and I can't think and I'm too old and I'm thirsty and I'm drained and I'm getting dizzy. Alrighty. Oh my, what happened? That's Susie's scream. Where am I? I must have passed out and it's already night. Susie, where are you? I gotta find and help her. She's in danger. Alright, I guess I can get behind that. Where do I go? This way, I guess. Excuse me. Oh, neato. She's a strong girl. Ain't like her to scream. She helped an escaped prisoner knowing darn well what had happened to her family and herself. Her mom and pa was beaten up by the guards in front of the whole town and in front of Susie. Her parents only agreed to the marriage after the temple threatened them with a much worse fate for her. The last time I saw her at the temple, she was standing behind the throne with the other ladies' bliss. She dropped a letter for me, and I sneakily picked it up when I bowed down at Father's feet. I gave the letter to George Grady because he's one of the few folks in town that can read. I don't know what it said, but I remember seeing the color leave his face after he'd read it. He wrote a reply and asked me to give it to Susie, but I hain't seen her since. Based on Susie's letter, George called a secret town meeting late the other night. That's when he proposed the silly idea of freeing the prisoners to take on the temple guards. After the meeting, when I was sitting alone at home, I heard a knock on the door. Well, lo and behold, it was none other than Farmer Jim, and he brought along a bottle of freshly made moonshine. Oh, I see what happened. He got you drunk, and you talked, didn't you, Godfrey? I stopped drinking many years ago because Miss Wilson says there's devils in that bottle. Well, maybe I did have a wee bit here and there when she gone to bed early, and Billy slipped me a few sips every time we Had a hard day at the prison. Anyhow, that no good Farmer Jim wheedled me into having some moonshine with him, and I had too much to drink. I told him stuff from the meeting that I ain't ought to have. I'm sure Farmer Jim went and told the temple about the townsfolk having doubts about the apocalypse. I cussed my damn self for spilling the beans about the meeting. Oh, excuse me. A lot of talking. Read the letter. Dear Mr. George, I dearly pray you read my first letter. As I had written, you must do all you can to stop the town from drinking the heavenly milk. The town has been lied to about everything. I beg you, please, please save the people. The temple has started suspecting me. Give my love to Ma and Pa, Susie. I wish to heaven I would have learned how to read when Susie was trying to teach me, but I always kept forgetting everything. I ain't got time to figure out what this letter says. Godfrey, I promise you, you've got time. Judging by the moon, it's already well past midnight. That means the apocalypse is upon us, but the angels ain't going to come unless the father reads a special prayer. There's only one place the mom could have taken him. I got to find them lickety-split before they do it. I'll leave these flowers I picked for Susie here. So what actually happened to the townsfolk, though? Did the uprising actually happen? Did they drink the special heavenly milk? Did they drink the Kool-Aid and they're all dead? I've dragged myself down the hill and made to the farms that lead back to town. I'm going as fast as I can, but something ain't feeling right. Yeah, you can say that again, something ain't feeling right. It's because something ain't right with this whole damn town. Excuse me. I got to stay positive everything's going to be fine, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Those dag-nabbed fools burned down the temple, but they'd never do nothing to Father Glorious. No, they wouldn't lay a finger on him. Why, he spent his life for our benefit, looking over us, protecting us, and preparing us for today. Whatever misunderstanding the town's had, he's still our Father Glorious, so I'm sure they won't harm him. No, they ain't going to do what was done to Titus. I promised Miss Wilson I wouldn't go to no rituals, but gosh darn it, I went to the one Titus was invited to. Oh, excuse me. What the fuck was that? What the fuck is that? I saw one of the townsfolk drag Titus blindfolded through these meadows in their white robes while chanting glory, 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 and I seen when they brought him to the big kiln they call Hellfire. And I seen when Farmer Jim lit the fire and the townsfolk sat on benches, and as Father Glorious read from the Holy Book, I remember seeing the terror on Titus's blindfolded face. He could smell the black smoke and must have known what was coming. Titus was then tied to a stake, kicking and screaming. He was carried into the raging fire as it swallowed him up whole. All of us just sat and watched, even the town children. That is not good. And that's where they're taking Father now. They're going to tie him on a stake. They're going to light the fire, and those non-believing bastards are going to burn him alive. There's going to be nothing left to our Father Glorious but his charred body and ashes. I'm losing it again. I got to breathe and be calm. Ain't nothing going to happen. Everything's fine. We all been waiting too darn long for this day. I'm going to find Father Glorious soon, and he'll be dressed in his fine white robe. And soon when it's dawn, the town bells will toll, and all the townsfolk will congregate in the field. There will be joy on everyone's face, excitement that will all soon fly away to heaven, and many of the folks will be looking to the skies to try and see the big, bright light like that the angels will shine. I am tripping over my words. And when everyone's gathered, Father Glorious will read us his final sermon, and he'll remind us how blessed we are to be believers, for only we'll ascend to the promised land. And for the non-believers and the Yankees, they'll be destroyed by hails and fires, and everything will be devoured by the blaze of the apocalypse. We'll look down from the sky to see this sad old world burning. And when the final sermon's complete and the townsfolk have applauded, the temple guards will bring the heavy kegs filled with heavenly milk. I wonder what the heavenly milk actually is. At first, all the town's children will be lined up and they'll be given a glass of the milk. They'll be told to drink even if it tastes foul, and after that, their mom and pa will tie white cloths around their faces, and the children will lay down in the field, and it'll be the parents' turn to drink the milk. But then something will go awfully wrong. Many of the children will start screaming the most painful, heart-wrenching cries, and then more children will start wailing and shrieking in complete torment. Many of the children be grabbing their heads and chests with extreme pain, the likes they ain't never felt, and many of the white claws wrapped around their heads will become stained and filthy with puke. I don't know why the audio is like not meshing. It's my computer, and I'm so sorry. And the parents will run to help their children, but they'll be stopped by the guards with powerful rifles. And the desperate parents will push the guards away, but the children will have already stopped screaming and crying, and they'll fall face first on the field, laying without breathing. And the parents will finally start understanding the whole truth, and they'll fix their manic eyes on the temple guards and Father Glorious. And Father Glorious will give instruction to the guards, and that's when they'll start firing and blasting at the townsfolk. And some will die by gunshots to the head and to the chest, and on the back. Others will die getting crushed as the townsfolk rush to lock themselves in their homes. But the guards will shoot many a door open and kill whomever they find inside. By and by, the guards will run out of bullets, and they'll safely take Father Glorious back to the temple. Is this what happened in your dream, Godfrey? What is going on with the audio? That is awful. Why is that happening, and can I fix that? Say, I can hear the sound of chanting. I reckon I'm close to the mob. I better hurry and get to him before they light the fire. And please don't do it. Y'all gonna be forgiven if you repent and let Father Glorious go. Even George Grady can be forgiven for plotting against the father. Damn it, I should have never given him that blasted letter from Susie. It got him really riled up. I don't even know what it said. And I should have never given George the extra keys to the prison. I didn't know he'd actually pull off his ridiculous idea and free the... And I should have never drunk that moonshine and blurted to Farmer Jim about the town's secret plans. Okay, I see what's up. So all the stuff that you talked about happened. You did it. You did give him the keys. Why, what in tarnation is that damn dog Stonewall doing here? Boy, I've really lost my marbles. That dog was killed when the prisoners escaped. I'm sorry. What? Did all this already happen? I've been looking forward to this day more than 14 years, dutifully paying my earnest in the temple and devoting my heart and soul to Father Glorious. It was supposed to be the happiest day of all our lives, the day when all our miseries would finally go away. Indeed, the apocalypse happened on 8/8/88, just not the one we was promised for so long. Why, what sort of milk from heaven causes little children instant brutal death? And what kind of temple kills their own congregation? And what kind of leader peacefully watches a violent massacre unfold on his own faithful believers? Father Glorious must have had some divine reason. How could he wrong us? Oh, okay. I'm here now. They already lit the fire. For the love of God, let him go. Whatever he did was likely for our benefit. Only he can take us to the promised land. Let's all forget this wretched world behind us and ascend to paradise with the angels. I've seen too much that dreaded fateful day. Too much death and too much bloodshed and too much savagery. Please take me away from here. I've been living through the same nightmare for too many years. I can't take it no longer. I've been looking all day, wondering where the townsfolk and the prisoners disappeared to, but I finally remember where everyone is now. They all dead and gone since years ago. Okay, I see. So Godfrey's insane. I see. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. I hate that. Why is there nothing? Ooh, it's very quiet. Ooh, I'm uneasy. Okay. The whole town says I'm a dummy because I can't think so good and I keep forgetting everything, but I ain't no different from the others. See, we all simply forget things we've seen, and we ain't never learned from them. I overheard Professor telling the other prisoners one day, we forget what's happened in the past and we let it repeat again and again. Nothing's going to change unless we stop forgetting. Phony, dishonest prophets will keep springing up and sing their gospel of us against them. They'll keep dividing us for their own benefit, and we'll keep praising them and following them with eyes shut and minds closed. When are we going to start learning from the past? When are we going to open our eyes? I'm going to just curl up and sit here a while. I'm old, and I seen a hella lot that ain't no man oughta. And I know darn well when I wake up tomorrow I'm going to forget everything and live the same day over again, just like I've been living it repeatedly for the last 12 years. I wish I'd died in the mines like all the others that day many a years ago. Oh Lord, why'd you let me live and see all that I seen in this cursed town? Why? So that's why there was a random, flashback to a mine, huh? 27 years earlier. Okay, yes. Please explain it to me. I'm interested now. Everybody get out. The mine's coming down. Get the hell out now. Save yourselves. It's all crashing down. Okay. Oh my God, I can't see. Help me. Okay. Get out, Godfrey. You can't save him. Hurry up or you won't make it. God damn the mining company for sending us down here. My lord, it's just mashed bodies under rocks. Oh my lord. Oh, here we go. Oh, this is the... We're almost out. There's the exit. Hurry up now. Okay. I do see. Oh, that's the end. Notorious prison shut down after scandal. Judge and sheriff accused of profiteering from prisoners. Cartwright prison is permanently shut down following a damning report by Senator Barnes of Alabama. The report detailed a litany of abuses, torture, corruption, and convict leasing. The majority of prisoners were black, and many had committed mere petty crimes, if those. While district judge, the sheriff, and several officials are being investigated for corruption linked to the prison, they had devised a system of falsely incarcerating and then leasing out prisoners to corporations for personal profit. Shining a mysterious bright light in the sky, there's many in awe. Several residents in the small town of Trinity, Alabama, were left in a state of shock when a bright, mysterious flying object appeared in the sky around dawn. Witnesses say the strange object, described as a large, bright light, was first seen hovering in the air before flying off at incredible speed and disappearing into the sky. Despite the many witnesses, authorities have been able to provide any explanation for the phenomenon. One witness described the experience as if a star was falling to the ground. Maybe that's what I saw earlier. Okay. Scenes of mass murder and suicide in rural Alabama town. Authorities yesterday made the shocking discovery of hundreds of dead bodies in the small town of Needle, Alabama. The bodies were believed to be members of an obscure apocalyptic cult, as well as escapees from a nearby prison. Several survivors detailed chilling accounts of the day that began with town children being poisoned during a ceremony and ending with the cult leader, Avery Cartwright, being burned alive in a kiln that the cult referred to as Hellfire. The lead investigator said that he had never seen such disturbing scenes of death and carnage in all his years. Needle tragedy from a cult member reveals all. Mary Jones, the real identity hidden, has detailed her traumatic childhood in the infamous kinship temple cult of Needle, Alabama, where she was a child bride to the leader Avery Cartwright. She was shot in the leg while making a harrowing escape from the temple and was rescued by authorities after the shocking events that took place in the town exactly 50 years ago on August 8, 1888. I never want anyone to go through what I did, Mary said, her voice shaking with emotion. The whole town thought I had died after the gunshot, but I managed to escape into the woods. So that must be Susie then. Okay. 8 days after Shallow Mine collapse, others feared dead, survivors suffering and severe brain damage. In a tale of tragedy and survival, a coal mine accident has left dozens dead and only one person miraculously alive. The accident occurred when the mine collapsed in a landslide, trapping dozens of miners underground. Despite the efforts of rescue teams, only one person, Godfrey Davis, was able to make it out alive. After being inspected by doctors, he was described as severely brain damaged. We will rehabilitate him and then shift him to a nearby town. With proper care, he will be able to put his traumatic experience behind him and hopefully lead a normal life. Oh, that's real sad and depressing. Holy shit. Is that it? Is that all of it? 8/8/1866. Okay. Do tell. Stop your goddamn hollering and mooing, you stupid cow. I'm coming. Can't a man get no goddamn sleep around here? What's the world coming to that I, a cartwright, has to tend to the horses and cows personally? The war done ravaged my whole business. These lousy, no-good Yankees destroyed my land and then freed my ungrateful damn slaves. Hell, I give those food and shelter, but they betrayed me in the end. They left me the minute they could, just like she left me as soon as my money done run out. Curse all of them, curse this blasted cow that just won't stop hollering. Oh, so we're learning why he had done what he did. Is that the light in the sky? I miss the good old days, just to be sitting on my porch watching the slaves work in the fields, hearing them say yes, sir, yes, sir, every time I ask for anything. But now look at me, I got no more slaves, no more money, no more family, and no more damn respect. All I got is a couple of cows that don't let me sleep and a rotten job at the prison. Boy, whenever I get the chance, there's going to be hell for all those who wronged me. I'm Avery Cartwright. I'm going to show everybody again once I get back on my feet. I've been riding with the clan and I've been going back to church. The Lord's going to show me the way. Oh, so there's that light. Okay. Where the hell did all my cows go? Was it aliens the whole time? (8/8/88) Needle, Alabama. Alright, well, that was an incredibly long video. This might be one of the longest videos I've ever made. I don't know if I'll awkwardly split it up into 2 parts or not, but, alright. So, that was a different kind of horror. That was less like that was less psychological horror, less boo scary monster horror, and more like the horror of human history, the horror of the atrocities of mankind, which is an interesting angle. Not a lot of games do that, and it brought it around to a good message at the end about how, yes, these things happened and they were awful and they were evil and they were vile and they are and were humanity at its worst, at its absolute worst, its absolute lowest, the absolute worst things that human beings are capable of. And they happened. And we should not ever forget them. Because, as the saying goes, those who do not remember the past are doomed to repeat it, which I do believe was the message at the end. So that's an interesting angle, because it is in an aspect horror, I would say, but it's more the subject matter itself is horrific, And like I said, it gave me, especially one of the scenes with Titus, I believe it was, strong Emmett Till vibes, which, again, like I said, is what really kicked off the civil rights movement in this country. So that was actually really interesting. Like, genuinely. Like, that is a one hell of a decision on what to choose as a backdrop for your game, as a underlying story for your game. And I'm gonna go on record as saying that I respect the decision to be as uncomfortably period accurate as possible. And these things are uncomfortable, and they should be uncomfortable. And I think if it makes you uncomfortable, then you're a normal person. But the fact that they chose to do... Because I have to imagine, I have to believe that writing these things could not have been... I was uncomfortable reading them. I cannot imagine writing them and putting them in the game. But that's a bold decision, and I have to respect it. And again, so this was more of a visual novel than anything else, which usually aren't my bag, but the way that this is done, the style that this is done is again just really cool, like the 360-degree picture. And I do really appreciate the devs for sending me a code for the game. That was really generous of them. They did not have to do that, and I did genuinely enjoy it. And I will say again what I think I said about Wardwell House is that a full-fledged like point-and-click adventure with maybe some light inventory puzzles, something like that, maybe even something that leans heavier into like a traditional horror aspect, or if they wanted to do something like this again. But I don't know. This was more of a story like this fits more of a visual novel style, but more of a typical like horror, psychological horror, survival horror game fits more in the inventory puzzle kind of style. But again, something like that, a more traditional point-and-click adventure game with this 360-degree photograph style, I think would be incredible. And I feel like the devs here, the studio Moon Lion, or Moo Lion, has the ability to do it. I think they could do it and do it well. That being said, I think so. The story of this one was cool, interesting. I like how everything was tied together at the end, neatly wrapped up. We learned Godfrey's story. We learned what happened to Susie. We learned why Avery Cartwright was the way he was. I like how everything got tied together in a nice, neat little bow. A lot of games don't do that, and this game did it very well. And I did really like the story. And again, like I said, the being period accurate, even with the writing and everything, bold decision that I feel like I just have to respect. As a game and an experience, I think I liked Wardwell House better. And I genuinely think it's because Wardwell House has more of that like goofy slasher horror vibe to it. And honestly, being able to like needing to explore the environments a little bit more and actually look around to see what you need to interact with, and finding notes, and then the phone calls with the little phone call section. I've forgotten the name of the person. I'm so sorry. The voice acting parts, the parts with where you're hiding in the closet, the tension there. I think from a gameplay perspective, Wardwell House was I liked that a lot better. I feel like everything was I just felt more. I don't know how to describe it well, other than saying that this was good, but I think I liked Wardwell House better. But this is still in early access, so maybe things might change. Maybe the story might take a different direction. Maybe they might add more things. I don't know. But I did like it. And again, thank you so much to the developers for giving me access to this game. They didn't have to do that. It's still wild to me that they did that. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this. So link in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. If you haven't seen it or played it, everybody should go check out Wardwell House as well. Again, they are both more of a visual novel style than a typical point-and-click horror game, but the story for Wardwell House was also really intriguing, really good, really fun. So I would highly recommend it. And I would recommend this one too, if you can stomach the horrific atrocities of the past. But yeah, so if you stuck it out this long, watched all the way to the end, then you are a real trooper, and you deserve to go get yourself some ice cream or your favorite candy, one or the other. So you go do that. Maybe find somebody, go tell your mom, your dad, your significant other, your best friend, say, hey, I sat through an almost 2-hour YouTube video from some random dipshit. Will you please buy me some ice cream because I'm a trooper and I've earned it? And you can tell them I said that, and if they don't believe you, just show them the last bit of this video. If you're the person that didn't believe them, how dare you? Go get them some ice cream right now, or their favorite candy. What the fuck am I on about? But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Thanks again to the devs for giving me access to this game. It was really cool, and I really appreciate it. And I would love to see more stuff, again, in this style. Maybe, again, some more things that are a little bit more interactable. Because usually, visual novels, walking simulator, for lack of a better term, usually isn't my bag, but twice now you've had a story that has kept me interested. So, good on you there. You've definitely got the writing down, I feel, at least in my opinion. If everyone out there liked this video, please click like to let me know that you did. Subscribe today if you aren't already. If you are already subscribed, make sure you ring the notification bell so that you never miss an upload. And I will see each and every one of you in whatever video comes next. Good Lord, this is probably the longest video I've ever recorded that wasn't a live stream. Alright, see you. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.